Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Recently, I discovered Chris Stapleton for the first time, and he's amazing. And that led a bunch of you to recommend another new singer to me named Teddy Swims. Well, his real name is Jayton Dimsdale, but Teddy Swims is what he goes by on the internet. So we're going to be listening to him for the first time today. He comes from Atlanta, Georgia. And reading about his background, I was fascinated by the variety of styles he's sung in. He did musical theater when he was a kid, and apparently he's been in metal, soul, and country bands, and currently sings in a rock band. So I don't know what kind of voice he's going to have, other than it might be in some way similar to Chris Stapleton. Now, the song that he's singing is like one of the great songs. I Can't Make You Love Me. This was originally performed by Bonnie Raitt, and it was by Michael Wright. I'm not actually sure how to say his last name, and Alan Shamblin. Now, story goes that Michael got the idea for this song after reading about a court case in which a guy shot up his girlfriend's car, and then while he was being sentenced, the judge asked him if he'd learned anything, and his response was, "You can't make a woman love you if she don't." Wise words to lead to a great song. Let's get to it. Yeah, water's good for you. Nice tracks.
Turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head. Lay down with me, tell me no lies, just hold me close, don't patronize.
He instantly has such a lovable voice. It's got smoothness to it, but it's got some depth in there too. I just love the way that he's writing the air. He seems very specific about the pitch, and yet it doesn't ever sound forced. It sounds like he's letting the air come up and just gently create a pitch, and then he's sending it out. And having this kind of really specific pitch, even in like a couple of faster moving notes that I've heard, I'm curious where he's going to go with that. I hope we hear some runs. I feel like his voice already would do really good runs. But the specificity of it without ever feeling pressured and having that lovely like spinny airiness the whole time is just gorgeous. Also, there's something about his voice and him that makes me feel like he's a huge teddy bear. It's probably because he's Teddy Swims. I'm like, aw, it's really sweet. It's sweet. Okay, back to the beginning. It's comforting. That's the word.
Turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head. Lay down with me, tell me no lies, just hold me close, don't patronize.
I also want to talk about what might be a little EQ bump in the top register. I think I'm hearing the air a lot, partly because they haven't done anything to remove airiness in the sound. I hear all of the natural breaths in between, so it doesn't sound like we have comped takes or anything like that, meaning we're not pushing in another take in the middle of a breath. I hear a natural breath between each one and flow of it the whole time. And often if the EQ has a little bit of a bump on the top end, you'll hear more of that breathiness. So up in those higher frequencies, that's where the breaths live. So we might have a little bump in there. And I think that's just to accentuate how beautifully he uses his air.
Don't patronize. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't. And you can't make your heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark, in this final hour, I will lay down my heart, and I feel the power, but you won't.
Whoa. I hear that similarity to Chris Stapleton that I was curious about. It happens for me in two main ways. It sounds like he's really good at playing with where the sound is. Sometimes he brings it forward to like a snarl to have a little more twang. Sometimes he raises it up a little higher in the vocal track so it's like more behind the eyes, and maybe the soft palate is essentially higher lifted. So you get sort of different like ding, 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 ding points of resonance along his face. And that's something that Chris Stapleton plays a lot with as well. And I just love it when singers use all of their face to be expressive. And then the other thing that I find fascinating is the amount of grit that he's adding and taking away. He's got it sounds like a teensy bit of fry that he can go into, but it also sounds like just like a little natural grittiness to the chords. Very, very cool. And I like the way that he'll almost bring it to this hushed, warm, airy tone. But then when he goes in stronger, it gets like an additional buzz due to the grit. It's very, very cool sound. Let's go back a little bit.
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
Listen to the way he uses just super subtle vibrato at the ends of these. It's very relaxed. And the entire vocal mechanism to me sounds extremely relaxed, just very well placed. I would guess that his breathing is very low because I don't hear a lot of pressure in the voice when he's going up high. And when he comes down on don't, it stays gathered at the end. It doesn't ever fall back. Oh, there's a lot of really great things he's doing technique-wise.
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
I love the evenness
And you
of the
can't
vibrato.
make your heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark.
That's the moment I was talking about where he brings it forward to a snarl. It's really, really fun. Really fun.
Here in the dark.
It's delicious.
In this final hour, I will lay down my heart, and I feel the power.
I love the way that he does feel in here. It's got like a little accentuation where the pitch bends a little bit, like he leans into it. It's almost like he speaks it more than he even sings it. Very nice. Great style.
And I feel the power.
Yeah. So if I was in some tuning producing this vocal, like say I was in Melodyne working on this, I could take that and I could tune it perfectly. But a smart person, I think, would say, no, don't tune that. That is so expressive. It's just a little flat because it's got a little more pain to it, this like longing in it. It's perfect the way it is without being perfectly tuned. I think there's a very big difference between perfect singing and perfectly tuned singing. Perfect singing should have all kinds of imperfections to show expression. Perfectly tuned singing is just perfectly tuned.
And I feel the power.
Perfect.
But you won't. Now close my eyes so I cannot see the love that you don't feel when you're holding me. Morning will come and I'll do what's right. Just give me till then to give up this fight.
I am totally in love with his vibrato. I love the way he uses it at the ends of phrases. I love the metering of it. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. I don't feel like it's too wide or too narrow. Of course, I'm coming from an operatic standpoint where I personally like to have a little vibrato in the sound. Some people like a totally straight sound. I like a little vibrato depending on the style. And in this style, I love the way he's using it. It sounds just so relaxing at the end. It's like you hear there's more warmth that enters the sound as well. It's just truly gorgeous vibrato to me. Let's go back, listen to the beauty of this vibrato.
Morning will come, and I'll do what's right. Just give me till then to give up this fight.
And also notice the faces he's making. When you're recording, absolutely all of the faces that you make will transfer into the emotion of that recording. You can hear a smile when somebody's recording. You might not get the chance to actually see them like we're getting to see him here, but you can tell his eyes are closed. You can tell he's really thinking about a story. Like at one point, kind of the side smile. You see some pain sometimes, but then you see this happiness that enters too, almost like a bittersweet happiness sometimes. It's great to see all of these different expressions and be able to hear them and how they're affecting the tone quality of his voice.
When you're holding me, morning will come, and I'll do what's right. Just give me till then to give up this fight.
Clean runs.
I will give up this fight, 'cause I can't make.
I really enjoyed that set of runs in there. It was exactly what I was hoping for, where it doesn't sound pressed, it sounds relaxed. It sounds like it's very much on the air. Okay, let you go to that transition again. Woo.
I will give up this fight, 'cause I can't make you love me if you don't, and you can't make your heart feel something it won't.
Look at the way he gives like just a little bit of teeth on heart. Get that
And
snarl.
you can't make your heart
See
feel
that?
something it won't. Every thought in this final hour, I will lay down my heart, and I feel the power, but you won't. No, you won't. 'Cause
It's very interesting hearing this sound with this grittiness in it the whole time. It's definitely the kind of sound that I think classical voice teacher ears will perk up and say, is there something wrong in this throat? You know, I hear all of this extra noise in there that sounds like the vocal folds aren't perfectly aligning, perhaps. To me, I'm really impressed by the way his center core body is just staying pretty still and grounded. And so I see that as a sign of having a really calm and stable support. And when somebody has that, chances are this is going to be just fine. You have to learn how to support the voice correctly first by having, really deep, low centered breathing that then won't just slam into your vocal folds when you start to sing. And he's got that completely. And you see that there's just not a ton of effort happening. It's okay to have some effort, but you don't want to pop a chord, you know? In this case, you see emotion and you see hands and that he's committed to the song, but it doesn't look like he's really straining for the top at any moment. I really appreciate the sound.
No, you won't, 'cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
I love the way he uses teeth. It's like tooth resonance.
And you can't make your heart feel something it won't. Every thought.
Listen to the way he uses the air to cut off won't. You hear a little bit of air at the end. It's really interesting. A lot of times won't is a glottal stop at the end, meaning that the glottis closes to stop the air, but he actually lets the air go a little bit past won't, like almost like you're adding an H to the end. This goes with this whole airiness that he's got going in his tone with like a little bit of fry.
I feel something it won't.
It's cool.
Every thought in this final hour.
So he did that on all three of those endings. This essentially like a little extra air at the end of the phrase instead of a full glottal stop or a consonant stop. Really curious. I'm going to go back to those so you can hear them. They're super subtle. You might need to listen to it in a good set of headphones to really hear that. But it's very, very interesting styling to me and very indicative that he's aware of his abundance of air.
Every thought in this final hour, I will lay down my heart and I feel the power, but you won't. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you.
Oh, chills. Chills. He's so believable. He's just so believable. It doesn't feel like he's trying to put something else on. The song feels like it's just a message from him. It's not. Sometimes when you hear somebody cover a song, you're like, well, they're using that person as an inspiration. But I just feel like it's him. It's beautiful. Like the song could be written for him. Wow. Okay, back just a little more.
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
Oh. No, keep singing. Oh, okay, we're going to go back one more time and listen to that last phrase. I wanted to point out the way he removes some of that vocal weight. He's really good, it sounds like, at adjusting how much power is behind it. That would have to do with adjusting breath pressure as well. And I think that's part of the reason why his high notes sound like they're doing really well, because you don't hear too much breath pressure and strain from that top. This last part is so beautiful and floaty. I like the way it sounds effortless, even though I think it would be very effortful for many people to sing. He seems to have just mastered the phrase.
Me if you don't.
Whoops. Maybe here?
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
It's pretty.
There's sweat in my eyes. I'm not really crying though. It looks like it though, don't it?
That's so funny. It really did look like he was crying. Maybe he was. I mean, he called it sweat. Sometimes I just say there's onions in the room. But wow, the sincerity of that was gorgeous, stunning. I appreciate that he kept it simple in a lot of ways, just singing with his own voice. You can hear that he can do runs out the wazoo. Like he could... I'd like to hear him do another song that has a lot more virtuosic influence in it, because I feel like he really could hit a bunch of runs with so much ease. It sounded effortless whenever he did fast notes. I really am attracted to the sound of airiness in his voice. I like the way he's using his air like crazy. And I just think that he has one of the more attractive vibratos that I've heard in this style of music. It's really, truly, it's got the perfect width of vibrato for me, the perfect frequency. It's really, really nice. I love the control. It never feels like it's overdone. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And also just a fascinating voice to hear and, hear that grit in there and wonder where it's coming from, if that was always there, if that's something that he's been adding into his voice later. I don't know, but it sounds really cool. Thank you to all of you for making this recommendation. I totally dig this kind of singer that is able to have so much different placement and is able to weave in different styles as well. It's very cool to me to hear, and I would love to have more recommendations from you. If you want to make those, write them in the comments below this video. That is where we see them and track them the most, so that's your best place to write them. You can also come and say hello to me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Arizona time. Or if you want to hang out more, I'm on Patreon. And you can also find me at thecharismaticvoice.com. I'll see you somewhere soon.